Sailor Peace has a big problem, and I'll tell you exactly why one of the most popular games can become hated by players. Subscribe. Like hype if you want to get this. More Roblox guides and giveaways. Watch till the end to understand this guide well. I'll tell you what is really going on with Sailor Peace right now, because even though the game is huge and still growing, there are some serious problems that more and more players are starting to notice and talk about. First thing you cannot ignore is the amount of bots in the game. And you can clearly see it when you look at servers where characters move in a repetitive way, farm the same enemies non-stop, and never react like real players. And this is not just a small issue, because these bots are actually grinding items all day long. The bigger problem is what happens next, because those items are later sold on external websites for real money. And this creates a risky situation not only for players but also for the game itself, since Roblox is not really supportive of this kind of activity, and it can lead to consequences if it keeps growing. On top of that, players are also reporting more and more exploits. And this is where things get even worse, because now it is not just bots farming in the background, but actual players abusing the game systems. And one of the clearest examples is the Infinite Tower, where some players suddenly reached over floor 700 way earlier than anyone else, which should not realistically happen without exploiting. This kind of situation completely ruins competition and makes leaderboards feel unfair, because legit players who spend hours grinding cannot compete with someone who is abusing the system. Another issue that players keep bringing up is the update schedule, because in most Roblox games people are used to getting updates very frequently, often every week, but here updates feel much slower, and that creates a gap where players run out of things to do and start losing interest. Subscribe to this channel if you want to join the giveaway. Check the links in the video description and write what you would like to get from this game. When updates finally arrive, expectations are high, but the last update actually disappointed a lot of players, mainly because new content like Atomic Sword or Strongest Shinobi did not feel as strong as older items, even though the bosses required to get them were much harder and had way more HP, so the reward did not really match the effort. This makes players question if the grind is even worth it, because they are putting in more time for something that does not feel like an upgrade. At the same time, the game is still doing insanely well in terms of popularity, sitting in the top 5 most played games and reaching over 450,000 concurrent players, which shows that the potential is huge and people clearly enjoy the game. But this also makes the issues more visible, because with a player base that large, every problem gets amplified. Another thing that newer players struggle with is the code system, because many of the newer codes are designed for endgame players, requiring high level or high ascend level, which means beginners cannot really benefit from them, and the few codes they can use either give very small rewards or are already expired, making early progression feel slower than it should be. Then there's the balance between grinding and spending, because getting new swords or melee styles is becoming harder and more time consuming, while at the same time new content is being added to the Roblox shop for even higher prices, which makes the game feel more pay to win than before, and this is something a lot of players are not happy about. If someone can skip hours of grinding just by paying, while others have to farm for days, it creates a gap that feels unfair. And finally, one of the most frustrating parts for normal players is dealing with exploiters directly in-game, because they can lag servers, teleport to bosses instantly, or interfere with fights, which ruins the experience for everyone else who is just trying to play normally. All of these issues together create a situation where the game is still fun and popular, but at the same time has clear problems that need to be addressed if it wants to stay strong long term. I'll tell you this straight, Sailor Peace has massive potential, but right now it feels like it is at a point where the developers need to react and fix these problems before they grow even bigger. And now I want you to tell me what you think. Do you agree with these issues or do you see it differently? Because I'm really curious what your experience with the game looks like right now.